Um, okay, so welcome back to live Lisp coding, um, and we're going to see a speed bump that you need to know about if you're going to be programming matrix. And I hit it without intending to, so it's a good natural occurrence of how this speed bump can arise. Because I'm always talking about bragging on Flutter matrix. Any property can be defined as the function of any other property. Whoa, yeah, fat chance. There's got to be a catch. Yeah, you're right. There is a catch, and we're gonna see the catch. And for those of you who haven't heard me bragging that way, and you're seeing this for the first time, what we're looking at is Clojure, a Lisp. Specifically, we're looking at ClojureDart, a wonderful Lisp put together by Christophe and Baptiste that compiles to Dart, so there are no compromises. And what I was playing with when this problem arose on its own without planning was the isolate explorer that I've been building for a while. Uh, and yeah, this is Flutter and this is Lisp, so wow. And the thing specifically I was working on, I was getting ready for the next video where I'm going to see this little green guy. It's going to be a health check eventually. Right now, it's just a shell where I have been able to display a few different icons. I wanted to get this out of the way before doing the video, so you wouldn't have to watch me type all this in. And I had this, and let's see how it works. Let's get on with the show. Clear. Okay, so if there's no ISO, we pretend there's a sync problem. Actually, if there's no ISO, we don't sync because you can't sync with an ISO. If we pause the ISO, this is more interesting. You can't ping that either because a paused isolate is a mere shell of an isolate. So let's resume that. And we'll demonstrate the ping. So we have ping, hello ping, ping immediate, ping next. But it's not actually doing anything. It's just we have this ping capability. What we really need is an automatic pinging, which will check and then set the status to the ISO as being a problem or disabled or whatever. So that'll be in the next iteration. I just wanted to get the widget icons up on the screen. And I looked back at this and I thought, oh, hang on, wait a second, look at the logic. I'm making one icon and then the icon widget. The icon it uses is determined by, oh, is there an ISO? Yes. Is it paused? Yes. Then use the disabled icon, which is kind of convenient. Else use this icon, else use this icon. And then I want to change the color too. So, we have the same logic. So that's no good. We can't have that. So I come back up here. I happen to have this ready. So again, you don't have to watch me type. And bam, there it is. And now let's look at what we're doing here. So now we have three different entire widget icons that are going to be in a container. That is going to be our spawn ISO status. And it asks, again, the same question. Is there an ISO? Okay. Is it paused? Okay. Well, then this is the icon and color that we're going to make. So this is great, right? We kind of dried it. I look at making more dry. Not a good idea. It came out noisier. And bam, as advertised, we hit our speed bump. And our speed bump is a compute cycle detected. And believe me, this is exactly how the only time I ever get a compute cycle is when I do something like this, when I have conditional children. This, by the way, down here, for those of you just getting used to matrix, hide a lot of noise. So this is following the map is the children, and the children is conditionally deciding what its children are going to be. Oh my, that's always, well, that's usually trouble. So let's see how we got into trouble. Looking at the call chain, I call it a call stack, it's actually a dependency chain. The main listener asked the app, it asked the app for the spawn ISO because the main listener wanted to know if it should be listening, right? So it asked, hey, is there an ISO? If there is, I'm going to be listening. Well, the ISO said, well, I don't know. I need to know the spawn ISO status kids. And you go, why? Well, it doesn't really, but let's look at the code for that bad boy. The code is, here's your listener asking for the spawn ISO. Here's the ISO asking the on-off widget for its value. That's okay, but to do that, it searches for the on-off widget using a wildcard family search utility. The wildcard family search utility runs around, and any widget with children that hasn't made their children yet will make them on the fly. And if it gets to, remember, spawn ISO is trying to decide itself, it's going to get to this guy, obviously, first, and ask the spawn ISO status for its children. And the first thing the spawn ISO status does is ask if there's such a thing as a spawn ISO, which is currently deciding if it should exist. Hence, we have a cycle. Now, I was delighted to see this because, as I've said, it's a naturally occurring problem. Let's see how we can fix it. We were going to do this anyway, it turns out, because this is just silly. This is destined to be a reusable widget, object that can be used by any application to create isolates and manage them. Well, if I'm going to make this a reusable object, I can't have a hard-coded searching for a particular GUI element. So let's change this to mgetme. Because now that I've created a nice local property that controls whether the ISO exists or not, I no longer have to do a wildcard search through all the children. So I'm basically solving the problem right there. However, we're doing a refactoring here, right? So we got to figure out where else the widget on-off was being used as a source of information. And here we go. Here's one. This is the isolate proxy deciding if it should make up a new from ISO port, because you cannot reuse these when making isolates. And down here, we have the onExit handler, which is going to let me, so the onExit comes from the isolate itself. That's Flutter Dart land. So it's saying, hey, I'm out of here. Well, that's okay. But the matrix layer doesn't know about that. So right here on the onExit handler, we let the matrix know that the spawn is gone. And finally, we have our former source of truth. And what we're going to do here is say, well, there's a new source of truth. And we have a wonderful macro, MAV, which will search up looking for the ISO status that we can use very conveniently. And on the control, when we're going to turn that bad boy off, we have to go find the app. Okay, go find the app and toggle that. And now we're good. We fixed the bug. And we have avoided the speed bump by eliminating the wildcard searching through all the kids. And that's it. That's the end of our show. Thank you.